Surprise! The number of young single men in America is at a record high. This is why. According to Pew Research data that was released this week, a staggering 63% of men in their 20s are single, which is almost double that of women. Lonely men out there? Let's break down these numbers. Scholars say that women don't want to marry down, whereas in the past, men played a more significant, dominant role in relationships. Women are now taking home 60% of all bachelor's degrees. And even though men still earn more money than women, that wage gap is slowly closing. It's now sitting at $43 a week. And that empowerment of young women is removing young men from the relationship equation. So then who are these young women dating? Some are dating and marrying slightly older men, which has been a thing for centuries. And others are more openly dating each other. There's more to it than just changing social dynamics. Women are also tired of dating emotionally unavailable and distant men, which is a larger issue in male relationships in general. Research shows that more men than women are friendless and lonely, and only half of single men are even looking for a committed relationship or even going on casual dates. They just want friends. And the social disconnect actually has really tragic consequences. Like the young male unalive rate is 4 times that of women. And all this research compounds with a 2021 Gallup poll, which found that American men are experiencing a friendship recession, with nearly 1 in 6 American men reporting not having a single close friend. Female empowerment is one thing, but if relationships and friendships are both falling for men, where does that leave us in the future?
I can't switch the fact that we're only attracted to 20% of men. Okay, I can't change that. I can't change the fact that half of women by 2030, this is 6 years away, half of women are going to be single and childless. This was a study done by bankers, not people that have a political agenda. So if you're married, women are going to be fighting for whoever you got. They're going to be, and the women already do that. Women want to be, I always say though, if we banned side chicks, if we made it illegal or something, the first people that would complain are women. There are women that go to NBA games trying to get men to cheat on their wives. This is, if you have a guy that other women like, that's just what it's going to be. And, I didn't make that world. This was the fault of our grandmothers and great-grandmothers. I didn't do it.
Whoop! Pearly Thing said that. Not me. But not me, though. Pearly Thing said. She said, make it illegal to have a side chick and everybody gonna be they gonna be fighting for this 20%. I ain't 20%. I'm up in the more like 0.0000. All right, Pearly Things. You gone, girl.
You're a single mom and a teacher in the state of Mississippi. Like, how are you economically surviving? Because the math ain't mathin'. So my last day as a sped teacher in the state of Mississippi was in March of 2021. At the time, I'd been teaching for like 8 years, and I just had like a standard teaching license, no master's degree or anything like that. But after 8 years of experience, I was bringing in like mid-40s, 45, 46K a year. And I was married, so I was living in a 2-income household. And I was not the financial head of my household. My money would go into our joint bank account, and my husband at the time took care of all the bills. Now, back in 2021, when I was going through my divorce, I knew I could not afford to be a teacher and be a single mom, which is what initially motivated me to leave the profession. Fast forward to today, 2023, I work in corporate America, and my salary hasn't doubled, but I'm currently now making a salary that in 2021 was only achievable in the state of Mississippi if I had gone back to school, got my master's degree, and somehow got hired on as a principal and probably worked for a few more years. Today in 2023, between my house note, my car note, all my bills, and getting child support, I'm making it, but I ain't thriving. I do not drive a fancy car. I don't live in a fancy house. And I really don't go and do much of anything. Now, I have taken on every single bill by myself, and I'm adulting a little bit harder, not much. But I just had to buy a new hot water heater that my dad replaced. I didn't even pay anyone to replace it. And I'm stretched. Like, Christmas is going to be low-key this year. But if I was still a classroom teacher right now in the state of Mississippi and a single mom, in an economy where my mortgage is like $600 cheaper than rent is in the neighborhood that I live in, and there happened to be a month that I did not receive my child support, I'd be in a tight spot. And that's with me making what a principal was making in the state of Mississippi 2 years ago. So, like, how are y'all doing it? I literally only dreamed to be making what I'm making now. And in 2023, that dream is just survival. So how are you affording to be a single mother and a teacher in the state of Mississippi? It's a very serious question. Like, how can you afford to stay in that career? Because had I stayed in that career, I wouldn't be living in this house. I'd be living with my mom and dad. I'd be driving a very unsafe and unreliable vehicle, and there would still be no extra. There would be literally nothing left over. And if you don't get child support, like, how many jobs are you working? I knew that 2 years ago, teaching was not a sustainable career for me. And with inflation, you ladies must be like magicians or something. I don't understand. And I hate that I'm even having to have this conversation. Because being a teacher made me who I am today and has allowed me to advance as far as I've gone today. I'm a better person because I was a teacher. I'm a better mother, human, worker, everything. But I couldn't afford to stay. And it's just wild to me, y'all.
In case anyone has ever wondered what it's like to be a single female in LA, I was just grocery shopping at Whole Foods, and I was just invited to join a gentleman. I'm in my sweats, by the way, just like what you see, like sweats, pants, whatever. I was invited to join a gentleman in the bathroom for a very good time in the middle of my grocery shopping. And, he did have the respect to ask if I was single. That was nice. And, was I just supposed to leave my basket there? Just chill here next to the fresh baked cookies while I just go to the bathroom real quick and get it on with this stranger that, just randomly approached me. Do I look that desperate so that, do I look like I am oh, poor me, I'm single and alone and, I don't know. I'm just reflecting right now and taking it all in. And, this is my neighborhood Whole Foods. So, maybe he's my soulmate. I don't know.
So one of the most common questions that you get on a dating app is, how long have you been single or divorced? I'm neither one of those things. So my answer to that is, I'm widowed. I had a 25-year marriage and lost my husband last spring. My loss didn't break me. It taught me that life is too short. I've been spending my time creating a new life filled with joy, looking for a man to share the next season of my life with. And I get different responses to that. A lot of times it ends the conversation. A lot of times I get, that's so sad. I'm so sorry. Which is okay. And then every once in a great while I get a good response. And if I get a good response, those are really the people that I continue to chat with. So, over the weekend, I got a good response. The guy said to me, it looks like you really cherish life, and I admire that you're such a strong woman. That was a good response. Later on, yesterday evening, I was on a phone call with that same guy, and I said, sometimes men are really freaked out that I'm a widow. And he said, no, Sherry, he said, they're not freaked out because you're a widow. They're freaked out because it's rare that you find somebody that's been in a 25-year relationship. You obviously have some pretty high standards, and they're not confident in themselves and intimidated that they won't be able to live up to your standards. Wasn't that food for thought? So, my friends, especially my widow and widowers, what do you think about that? Cut out for this shit.
Boy math is when a guy makes you think he likes you because he says he wants to put a baby in you, wants to marry you, tells you he loves you, spends all his time with you, all of that stuff. But he doesn't. He's just lying. Boy math.
It comes with the territory that when you make TikTok videos, you are going to get criticism. If you go viral, you're going to get criticism, you're going to get haters, you're going to get faceless users saying not so nice things to you. And a lot of the ones that I get are you're just an attention seeker. Well, fucking yeah. I'm literally setting up my phone and being this is what I wear. If you're interested in thinking, if you want to know what and then I upload the first part of the video is me in my bra and underwear, and people are like, you didn't have to do all that, you didn't have to be in your bra and underwear. Well, yeah, you obviously don't have more. Well, yeah, I don't have morals. I don't care about anything. What gave you the idea?
Danny Pat just rang, asking how things were, how my job is. She doesn't know what I do for a living. She thinks it's internet marketing. I suppose it is in a way, internet marketing. But she's asking if I've got a home office and a desk. It's getting a bit awkward, isn't it? Like, I can't really tell her. I can't go, Pat, babes, you know, your granny daughter gets her boobies out. I can't tell her that, can I?
I'm Bambi, and I'm a serial relationship haver, and I'm healing from my codependency. As much as I am an independent person, I cannot remember the last time I wasn't in a relationship or messing around with somebody my entire life, and I have never lived completely by myself except for the time that I was homeless in my car. That, on top of chronic illness and mental illness, it's really hard for me to take care of myself a lot of the time, and I've relied on people to take care of me in the ways that I can. I'm trying to get out of that phase, and I'm not looking for validation, but I want to show you that these things are possible too. This might not look like much. I put a sandwich together and cut up some apples, but the real winner here is the fact that I, without a recipe, made french fries completely from scratch, cut up potatoes all by myself. This might seem pathetic to some people, but I'm hoping somebody sees this and it helps them keep going.
According to this Princeton study, charisma is the most important thing in how people perceive you. If they like you, if they want to work with you. And I feel bad because a lot of the comments are like, I don't have charisma, I don't have charm, blah, blah, blah. No, you can manufacture it. You can increase it. And this study from Princeton was kind of groundbreaking because before people say like, oh, she just has like charm or that energy or that it factor, that je ne sais quoi. Well, we know what that is now. What it is it's a mix of warmth and competence. Hear me out. So when you are drawn to someone and you want to listen to them, you're drawn to them for a reason and you want to listen to them for a reason. We know people who over-signal one or the other, right? So what you need to do if you want to learn this skill is you need to figure out, do I over-signal competence, meaning I want to come off as smart and like do so to a fault, or do I over-signal warmth? And whichever one you're lacking, you have to jack up. Because if someone's so bubbly and warm and nice, that's great, and you might be drawn to them, but you might not really respect what they're having to say. And on the opposite side, if you over-signal competence, you want to prove to everyone how smart you are, you might come off as kind of a jerk. So once you figure that out, you can learn where you're lacking, and then you can implement behavioral cues to make yourself seem more warm or make yourself seem more trustworthy or competent. It's kind of genius.
And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.